Hold on, go again.
Are you doing your trip?
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of rainy out.
Yeah, leave it alone if you don't feel it.
Well, yeah, but also like it's good to go outside, don't you think?
Yes, I very much think.
Shalom is a Hebrew word meaning peace, wholeness, completeness, and well-being.
Shalom.
I knew it was special because I remember I heard what it meant and I was like, oh, I thought it just meant hello, but it's more than that. I don't know where I saw it
That's
or
like
like
it's
what the
almost like that should
context was.
always be our greeting.
That'd be nice. Can you imagine how much better everybody's day would be? Dude, it's so boring when people are like, hey, how are you? More like peace, wholeness, completeness.
I usually say, "What's up, dog?"
It's just like, yeah,
I don't even say,
I
"How
don't
are
know.
you?" I just say, "What's up, dog?"
It's just
make
like,
it make
don't,
it more interesting.
it's such a formality. Like, don't ask me how I'm doing because it's never about that.
You don't even care.
Actually, though, it's like you're just saying hello, which is fine, but just say hello. Like, hey,
No, no, I'm saying shalom.
let's just be more affirmative. Be like, hey, good to see you.
Take a seat. Let's talk.
Hey, you look radiant today. Take a seat. What are you, Chris Hansen?
Take a seat. Who's Chris Hansen?
Dude, To Catch a Predator?
Huh?
Bro,
Bro,
you never watched the show To Catch a Predator?
no. It's usually not on my high on my list.
It's just an iconic show. I figured you've heard about it before. This so basically this.
Did you make coffee yet?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Can you hear that?
Sorry. Anyway,
Are you hearing my pen?
I can hear that.
Okay. Do you hear the rest of
So
the stuff in the background? Is that what's confusing?
no, I was hearing stuff in my background.
Oh. Before you
Loud stuff.
continue, can I just go grab my coffee?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
You're good.
I'm late. Matt Kelly,
What's up?
it's so nice to see you.
Aw, nice to see you too, Rob. Happy
What
good
an
morning to
absolute
you.
pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
Likewise. You know, let's sit in that for a second. I'm becoming aware of my surroundings.
I wore this little shirt this morning.
Oh, whoa! Is that Jupiter?
I don't know. Little satellite.
Oh, that's really cool. Very cool shirt. I like how you're always dressed. I'm just like, I'm always in my like sweatshirt and shorts, and you're like, you look like you're ready to leave the house.
It's because I already did leave the house.
You left the house this morning?
Yeah, I go grocery shopping at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning.
I forgot that I woke up really late this morning. I woke up at 11.
I also woke up late. I woke up at 10:40 today.
Mm. So I okay. So you still went grocery shopping, but you just went later.
We just moved it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, no wonder you look like you left the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, because I was literally out. Yeah.
I leave the house infrequently, although last week I left the house more than usual because I was like, I gotta go to Michael's. I gotta go get some. I gotta get a frame.
And you got three amazing canvases for super cheap.
And then I got the canvases. But buying frames is also really annoying. You ever bought frames before?
Not yet. Mainly because I assume it's very annoying.
It's well, here's the thing: is at first I bought the poster that I was going to be drawing on, which was 22 by 28, which is kind of an awkward size, and then I
Mm.
used the whole like the triangle just barely fit on it.
I saw that. I was like, I wonder if he did the math, the measurement beforehand.
I measured like halfway through. I was like, and this is gonna work, and it worked.
It worked.
Um, so the size of the thing was awkward. So I bought the closest frame size I could, but when you put the artwork in the frame, it cuts off part of the triangle. So I was like, bro. So then I bought an even bigger one. So I bought two big ones because it was buy one get one free.
You know,
So
do
now
it
I've got
again.
two extra frames.
I knew when you sent me that video. I was like,
Yeah,
I knew it.
that's okay. So you
But
just
you
you
did
know
it, and frankly speaking, it doesn't have to be framed. In fact, you could cut the bottom strategically and make it so that it's equidistant.
hmm Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. But if it's not framed,
You can laminate it and use it as a eat food on.
a placemat. Oh my,
Um,
that would be
I don't know what else you
what
can
a
do with it.
silly use of artwork.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyway, so To Catch a Predator, there's this guy, Chris Hansen, and he's more like the face of the operation. He's not like in law enforcement or anything, but he worked with this team. This is back in, I want to say it was in the 90s this show came out, but it might have been late 90s, early 2000s. And he worked with this team, and this team was again not law enforcement. This is like an independent organization, and they would set up like sting operations basically. So they would pose as children online and be in like chat rooms and stuff, and essentially, these people would start talking to them, and they would make the conversation sexual, and so then they would invite them to this house, and if they show up at the house, basically they show up thinking that a minor is going to be there, and they walk in, you know, with bad intentions, and Chris Hansen comes out of the kitchen is basically like, "Why don't you have a seat? I've got some questions for you." And so they got mad cameras everywhere, but they don't know, the people don't see the cameras, and so Chris Hansen starts talking to them, and they also don't know who Chris Hansen is. So they're just like being asked all these questions. They're like, "Is this the guy, the dad, or something?" And then after the conversation, Chris Hansen's like, "Well, you should know something. I'm Chris Hansen, and we're doing a story with Dateline NBC." And then all the camera people come out, and then it's good stuff.
Oh my god, get absolutely busted, son.
Yeah. So very popular show, and they actually just started redoing. They're like doing a different version of the show. Same thing.
I'd imagine it's even more prevalent now, right? That issue, Roblox, right?
Because of Rob. I maybe, dude. I don't know.
And more kids are online than ever before, right?
More kids are definitely online than ever before.
It's a weird place to learn how to trust human beings online.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, we were, I don't know about you, but I was on Xbox Live when I was a kid. No.
No, I always knew it was really toxic, and I just didn't enjoy the environment.
Mm. It was very toxic. So, but that's, I don't know. You kind of just talk to people in the game and then you leave, and that's like the end of it. It's not like a chat room or anything.
But I'm having the same problem with Spell Table, and like last weekend, the lobbies that I create for the commander decks are called Terabify Sunday Chill, so everyone knows there's a Terabify lobby,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says Jank Budget Commander bracket 2-3. So Jank implies, it doesn't have to be a super amazing strategy, it just has to be fun, hopefully. Budget, I should put a budget range. And then commander is obviously the game type. But
Mm-hmm.
who ended up showing up last week was like a bunch of like they're like, oh yeah, the cheapest commander deck should be $1,000. And I was like, did you not read the description of the lobby? And then I
The
had a
budget.
really bad time playing with them.
Oh.
So, you know, the the magic community at large, especially the online magic community, is very hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
There are few people that actually are there to just have fun, because they're so used to being defensive and being in lobbies where the objective is to win rather than to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because it is a game, and and games have winners and losers. So there's going to be different types of people.
But as we move more into the metaverse, I think it's going to be really important to set some rules and boundaries in order to create environments that we're actually looking for, especially if we put
Mm-hmm.
the effort in actually catering that to that environment. For instance, book club. You know, me and Walter's discussions, one on one, were not ones that we have in book club, and we were kind of laughing at that, and we were like, well, we couldn't really talk about this stuff in book club, and by virtue of not setting clear, I guess, boundaries of what we would expect from that type of environment. You understand what I'm saying?
Um, I think I get what you're saying. I but I also think that probably whatever you and Walter were talking about, we could probably talk about during book club.
It wouldn't come off as well. Walter just doesn't talk a lot in book club. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think just by virtue of having more people, kind of goes back to that rule of three. Like if it was me, you, and Walter, or me, Kate, or you, Kate, and Walter, or something, right? If there's one
Mm-hmm.
less person, I think everyone has uh, more time to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't
Well,
solved for that.
yeah, it depends. Like, I think he talked a lot when not his last book, not the
Terrible.
Dispossessed, but his book
Mhm.
before that, which was I think Information Wars. Unless he picked, maybe I'm going back 3 books, but he talked a lot during that. I think he really got into that one, and I think he talked more during the Dispossessed as well. Because you're more invested when you're when it's
When
your
it's your
pick,
book,
and
yeah.
yeah. But what were you guys talking about in your one on one that you think is not suitable for uh, book club?
Um,
Were you talking about like politics or geopolitics or something?
like work, like the intricacies of work and life satisfaction in work and moving to different places. Um, the importance of the relationships that we have, And I'm just listing them here. It's not necessarily that we couldn't talk about them in book club. Um, we talked about scale and the conversations that you can only have with certain people based on what scale they touch. Um, we talked about global strategy, like China versus United States, almost like a board game, like Risk
Mm-hmm.
and technology. I don't know. The scale of what we were talking about, just in general, seemed like it was more zoomed out than what we usually talk about in book club, which tends to complement more mundane kind of granular things rather than macro.
Mm-hmm.
If I could put it in a shell.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate in terms of the topics you listed. But you and I also talk about a lot of macro stuff, and I don't know. I think it's fun talking about macro stuff. I would, I certainly wouldn't mind if you brought stuff up like that in the book club. I do think sometimes in the book club, it's like we want to talk about the book specifically and those topics, and sometimes we end up getting too abstract. It's like the book is about cats or something, and now we're talking about like, all right, well, what does it mean to be an animal? As opposed to being like, oh yeah, I own a cat and it's nice because they're companions and blah blah blah. But if it's related to the book or if it's like relevant, or if it's just like we're done talking about the book and we're just shooting the shit now, then I'm in, baby.
So I assume that by virtue of bringing that up, you would rather have more granular conversations about the book and how they relate to everyday life.
Yeah, I think so. And of course it depends on the book too, because sometimes it's a sci-fi book, sometimes it's psychology, spiral dynamics.
Yeah, but even spiral dynamics, like we didn't really apply those concepts to mass society for any consistent amount of time. Okay, so yeah, so exactly. So the conversations that me and Walter prefer to have are more abstract and larger, whereas the
Hmm.
conversations that perhaps yourself and other members of book club would rather have are more granular.
mm, let's just take spiral dynamics for example. I think we right there's a level of scale, but then there's a level of abstractness. So if we were talking about large scale but concrete, we would be like, okay, what color is this country exhibiting?
Hmm.
Or what color is this conflict surrounding or oriented towards? But instead, a lot of the times we got abstract about it, and we'd be like, you know, what are systems and I don't think we did a lot of specifics regardless of scale. Sometimes we delved into that, but it would turn into a lot of like how are we implementing systems, and it kind of got away from the terminology in the book itself.
Hmm.
And
Well,
again, there's
that's
a time.
that's it's also by virtue of me not reading really the vast majority of the book, right?
Mhm.
Um, which is which is I feel bad about, frankly, and I should
Mm.
feel bad about because I guess the agreement is that Um, if we're going to do something, we're going to do something together. And when someone breaks that agreement, then they're necessarily the togetherness is not going to feel as together. So I apologize.
Mm.
I also recognize that by virtue of there being multiple human beings involved, that the circumstance is going to occur that people do not read the book and still want to be present. We can set strict guidelines to make the togetherness optimal, that you must read the book in order to participate,
Hmm.
the chapters, otherwise don't show up. But again, the only way to make those strict guidelines is to commit to an intention, and that I feel like is missing in book club, or on a larger sense, in a lot of organized groups of humans.
Hmm.
To my
So
to
you
my earlier
think
point,
so you think we're book club is missing an intention?
it has an intention, but it doesn't have the system around it to make sure that that intention is most likely to happen.
Hmm. Uh, which is and that think that that system is just like kind of stating some rules and guidelines and stuff.
Yeah, and the reality is, right, those rules everyone might not agree with, and to be okay with that and say, well, me, Matt Kelly, have been in this book club the longest, and so we can be selfish about how we want this to turn out.
Hmm.
And in leadership, that just comes down to who has the greater vision, and do you believe in your vision?
Hmm.
Um, Hard to do if you're trying to cater to everyone. Make sense?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's. I think people would be pretty cool with the rules. Not that there's many of us left. We're at four. That's how I feel about my music league that I'm in right now. People are leaving the music league. People don't submit the songs. It's like it's really petering out.
Can I tell you how I've figured out how to keep things going?
Hmm.
The first step is to create the system, not to invite the people. The second step is to invite the people and to
Hmm.
consistently invite people that align with that system. Um, but the intention has to be well known and documented and communicated,
Hmm.
because everything's going to peter out. It's just the natural way. It's the way that I've seen that humans end up engaging with any given thing in life. I mean, our intention is very like what we were talking about last night, just fragmented, right? We're very few times during the day, the vast majority of human beings spend really paying attention, and by virtue of that, that can stack. So if it's not important for someone to have an organized time to engage with like-minded people, and consistently, and they don't understand how that benefits them consistently, they're not going to create the space and the time in their head to not only show up but show up with the right attitude and the right questions. And by virtue of that, the longer that system goes on, the longer that communication fails to happen, people will drop out, because you'll basically get layers and layers of like, oh, I don't really care, I don't really care. Okay, now you've passed a certain threshold, now you don't show up.
Hmm.
And that's bound to happen. Like, the vast majority of human beings I've found are very non-committal when it comes to any given thing.
Hmm.
So I've kind of gotten over the fact that, you know, people are going to stick around for forever. They're not. But the system, the box, the thing that matters to you or me, um, in order for the organizers to get satisfaction out of it, we must hold true to it, regardless of who attends.
Hmm. Yeah, I think about it like I'm me personally, I'm enjoying it less because again, I think certain things, although they've been communicated, it's just like they don't um the other people in the league don't like care enough, which is fine. Uh but like nobody ever leaves comments on the songs. So it's just like you just see the points and you're like, well, okay. And so many of the songs are like very cliche songs. Everybody's heard these songs before multiple times probably. It's they've been submitted in other leagues and it's just like there's a lack of creativity in there. And so, it makes sense that, even I want to leave. So it makes sense that other people want to leave. Um but I also think it's not a bad thing to just like let it subside. Um after this league ends, I'm not going to make a new league and then in the future, if people are like, "Oh, well, you got to start up a new league," I'll probably be like, I just wasn't feeling it because nobody comments, and then maybe they'll be like, "Oh, well, but we like the league, I'll start adding more comments, blah blah blah,
And then they won't. Um, I
maybe,
guarantee. No, I guarantee it. Because
maybe,
I've made it too many times, and I've come across that exact same thing. Um, the I guess what I'm trying to the satisfaction of creating a system only really comes down to what the creator wants out of it. Um, I've realized time and time again when I create these things that if I am not very selfish on what I want out of that thing and I don't pursue that selfishness, that it always falls apart.
hmm
And that's the irony of creating groups of human beings is we want to be green about it, but really we need to be yellow about it in order for it to be sustainable.
hmm
So you can be the organizer, but you can't spend all this time inside of the group. You have to be outside of the group and organizing from the outside, knowing that the green that's going on inside is only possible with you being on the outside, making sure
hmm
that the system's still functioning.
right. Whereas you probably just want to make it and then be a part of it
It's not.
and swim around.
You can't. I mean, you could spiral wizard it. Yeah, you'll swim around, but it's an act.
hmm Yeah. Or
Plight
I
of
guess you could
leadership, right?
find, you can find I'm a part of another music league, but I don't run that one, so that's a whole different story.
Yeah. For me, I'm not willing to be the participant most of the time because I usually don't enjoy the intention enough. I don't think the person that's organizing the thing is satisfying what I would like to get out of it. So then I almost always default to the systems role. For instance, for book club, right? Right now I'm hearing a key member, one of my best friends, is not enjoying book club, and that comes from, in my opinion, my failure to impart my intention onto the book club and go too much into satisfying what everyone else wants. Because I
You
realized
talking
that,
about me?
yeah,
I wasn't saying that I'm not enjoying book club.
but you're not enjoying Music League
Yeah.
for very much. Well, book club does have comments. It has a lot of engagement, so I can understand how you could. Yeah, I should engage more. But what I'm also saying is that for me, the intention of book club was to invite people that think more macroscopically, much like um, much like the G-Men group,
hmm
right? I want to have larger philosophical discussions about things, but again, the next book that I chose is very granular. It's about like
Right.
the
I was just
tiniest
thinking that.
details. Yeah. But it's how we pursue it. You know.
Hmm.
Uh, do I think that anything is necessarily broken right now? No, but I do have a feeling in my heart that there needs to be more structure and more of an understanding among the folks in book club in terms of um, how to engage with the text and what should be encouraged. For instance, what you were
Hmm.
saying, that if we get too macroscopic, there should be a code word, or there should be something that helps set the tone back into, okay, let's engage with the text. Let's go with quotes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, to improve satisfaction, but also to set a cultural kind of expectation.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it comes down to just like, people who naturally care about something will add to that quality naturally. So like Kate, for example, Kate did a great job of like applying it to their own life, and asking extra questions or thinking about it after the fact, and then putting questions in the Discord. I don't know if you saw that they
Hmm.
put.
I have yet to answer that. It's a hard
Hmm.
question.
So it's just like that just kind of happened on its own because they enjoyed the material, and so they engaged with it, and it became a part of their thought. And so that's naturally how we got a deeper interaction with it in the book club and out of the book club. So it's
Yeah.
like that alignment.
Me and Walter weren't great team players this time around.
Well, yeah, Walter. Obviously, he thought it was more like woo woo, or
Walter thinks a lot of things are woo woo.
I know, which is fine.
I guess that's what makes him unique.
That's fine. It's almost, he's like the final boss of spirituality.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
So just I just got to get my armor, and I got to get my weapons
Yeah,
together.
you need your training. I mean,
Yep.
what a great thing to have, right?
Hmm.
In your environment, something that
Oh yeah.
tests your ideas,
No, it's good. I like to be.
challenged.
Every time I say something to Walter, you're gonna see me, if it's related in that capacity, you're gonna see me get a big grin on my face. I'm gonna go, well, Walter, but what about God?
Yeah. Um. Okay. So, should we put a pin in that?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, again, so I just think that I think it's organic. I think it helps that we already align on certain philosophies. So we're bound to pick books that touch on that. Um, but you and I were also the only ones that wrote down what we were looking to get out of book club that one time in that spreadsheet, and our goals and whatnot. So
Did Walter write that down? Okay. Well, can you send a link in the Discord and say, hey guys, me and
good.
Tarab want to make book club more intentional, or at least Tarab wants to make book club more intentional. Can you share your thoughts?
I can do that.
And I'll comment on Kate's post to make our little community, little community, little book bunny community. Where is her shit? Their shit.
4:30. You know it's bicycle day?
No.
Is that me or you?
That was me.
Okay.
I wanted to start inviting the interns to the Taravify Discord.
Mm.
Okay. Now, do you have a chance to? Are you doing that? You already did that.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the spreadsheet. Okay. Feel connected to the source. That's you.
Hmm.
Where is the source?
In here, probably somewhere in my DNA.
I think you have to go inward.
I'm reading Rebecca's poem.
Mm. Her poem?
Yeah, she posted Something from a rabbi.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, barely.
Did you have a chance to
I'm listening.
listen to all of the songs?
No. Last night, definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Do you are they updated for you?
It's possible, but
What is
I'm.
your what would you
Go
like to
ahead.
accomplish today?
Uh, well, I was trying to figure out the iCloud syncing, and I was going to see if there was a way that I could um, bypass the issue without having to sign out and sign back in. But I don't believe that is going to be possible. So I'm just going to sign out and sign
Solve the
back in.
most annoying thing. Okay, makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
So I
Um,
backed up all of the files that I created that are not syncing, and
so
then I will sign out, sign in, and then I will put those where they belong.
okay, and how long do you expect that to take?
Hmm. Good question. Well, signing out's very easy. That'll take a few seconds. Signing in, maybe 5 minutes, and then syncing and downloading back all the projects. Depends.
And in terms of the ones that you've actually made changes to that are going to be relevant moving forward, do you know what songs those are?
So I can tell you that I have there's 4 projects that have non-synced files. Mofongo has 2 wave files.
Wait up, let me write this down. So it's Mofongo. Okay.
Affirmations has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wave files and 2 projects because obviously the projects themselves did not sync. So I have an affirmations A and an affirmations B.
Okay.
I believe I recorded 2 vocal wave files. Not that those are particularly important because I was just kind of messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And Dance Like a Snake has 1 Reaper new temp file, whatever that is.
Okay.
So I don't know. Those are just the ones that weren't syncing. So I just copied them over.
Okay. So basically, I am not to touch Mofongo, affirmations, I believe, or dance like a snake until you have finished.
I think you could probably touch Dance Like a Snake if you wanted to, because again,
Mhm.
this is just like a weird file type I've never seen before. It's .rpp dash new temp, and it's also was last modified March 22nd. So that's prior to.
Or issue.
It's prior to we have a more updated project file. So
Okay. Understood.
you should
Um,
probably be fine there. I believe you'd fine because I didn't save anything. I just recorded. Did I save it? I'm not sure. I believe you're probably fine. Affirmations I wouldn't touch, and Mofongo. I don't know what these wave files are. Let me listen.
well, Mofongo, I'm leaving up to you anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, Mofongo's the vocals, bro. Yeah, Mofongo, we gotta
Just
chill
slightly
on.
important.
I forgot I recorded those. Okay. Done. Turn off. Delete from PC. Bye. So classic, dude.
And it seems to have it. Well, I suppose we'll figure out for sure next time because I guess you can record the date that you've done this now somewhere on 4/19/26, and we'll see approximately
I'll
how long
remember
it
because it's
takes.
bicycle day.
How is Bicycle Day relevant to your life?
What's that? You glitched out.
How is Bicycle Day relevant to your life?
Are you familiar with bicycle day?
No.
Bicycle day is the day that Albert Hoffman, it's not the day that he synthesized LSD, it's the day that he ingested LSD after synthesizing it for the first time. And he was like, I don't know what this substance is or what it's going to do, but let me put some of it into my mouth and we'll find out. And then he realized that he was starting to feel weird. And so he's like, let me get on my bicycle and go home. And
From his
then he
lab.
started tripping absolute balls on his bicycle ride home. And yeah, that's it.
Well,
But basically he was the first guy to do that.
is that why you wanted to trip today?
No, that was a pure coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidence.
It was unrelated
Synchronicity.
consciously to that idea.
Right. Did you know that tomorrow is also 4/20?
I did realize that once I realized that today was bicycle day because it's the 19th.
Yeah.
Did you know that the day after that, my credit card bill is due?
No, I'm sorry. How much is your credit card charged?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't know, like $1,200 or something. We got some
Um,
canvases in there. We
right, right.
got,
You've
I've also got to
splurged.
buy some flights. We should accomplish that today.
We should, and we will. But my question to you first and foremost is: would you like to